topic. We are talking about how to make a home as a person of diaspora. Did I say it right?
In diaspora.
Diaspora.
You can be in diaspora too.
Diaspora. I was driving today and I kept saying both and I was like, I don't know, because I've heard people say both and I don't know what the right one is, but diaspora.
Whatever feels right.
But I feel like diaspora sounds more correct.
I mean, well, who's defining what's correct though?
True. Whatever word you want to call it. But that's what we're talking about. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about you. So could you tell the audience who you are?
I'm just nobody.
But like, who are you? Who are you, and what's your expression? What's your art? What are you about? And the reason why I do this instead of me explaining it is because I feel like we all define ourselves so much better than other people do, and we should take ownership of that. So that's why
I feel like I love the way you look at me. You know, like the way you see me. I like it way better than I see myself.
I really want to hear what you have to say. So what's your expression? What are you about?
So I am I'm a storyteller. And I am a media maker and an entrepreneur and a business owner. The consistent concept that I grapple with is how do we create home? Being a person in diaspora and holding intersectional identities that sometimes to the outside world seem to clash. How do we create a home? And what is home? You know, like what is home to someone who's in diaspora? How do we create that? And so whether it is a painting or a photograph or or my studio or a show that I put together or the bottom line, it's all intersecting under this like idea of this not idea but this like need for a place to call home. So
how did you first get into storytelling and just that like artistic expression in general?
I think for me art has always been a means of expression. So I think I began making art in order to tell my story and in order for me to take control and take ownership over the way I want my story to be told. So that's why I create. And then I have recently been redefining what it means to be an artist and like how like I'm not an artist in the traditional way of just like I went to art school, I studied photography, so now I make photography series. And, you know, I'm not. That's not my only artist practice. For example,
but you did go to art school.
I did go to art school. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
Tazeen didn't know that.
I didn't know that. How did I not know that?
People are like, you went to business school. I'm like, yeah.
That.
I watched my dad run businesses.
That's a great way to learn.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean like, so until recently I didn't like really have the words to tie. I always like saw Bottomline or like my entrepreneurship as like this like separate thing, right? Because I like want to redefine how we do business. So to me, a business, the purpose of a business is to create jobs, to build community, to be a place where people gather, to sort of like, can you imagine that, like 4 or 5, sometimes 10 people's livelihoods, their living depends on like the spaces that you create, right? And like what a beautiful feeling it is to know that you're like making, you're helping someone have a job, that they're able to support themselves, and you're making sure that that place that they go to is loving and comfortable and like supports them, and like not only financially but also like their emotional self. Right? So like that's like one step of like running a business that I'm like
which is so much more than just making money.
It's making money is like not really like sort of like making money is just part of like sustaining myself, but like it's not, oftentimes it's not like it's not the bottom line, it's not my primary source of income.
So can you tell us what Bottomline is for anyone who doesn't know? If you don't know and you're in Detroit, you're missing out.
She said it.
So
the Bottomline is a coffee shop, but it's more so a community space for people to come together. So our business plan when we opened it was to create a place that nurtures the community, and that community will sustain you. And so that was essentially the entire business plan. We wanted to create a safe space. We wanted to create a safe space for people of color, a safe space for queer people. We wanted to create a safe space for artists. And I think we've done it. I think we've
absolutely done it.
And so, yeah, that's sort of like the driving force of this space. And all of the things that happen there are to like continue to perpetuate this like nurturing of the community we're a part of and that we come from. And coffee ends up just being sort of a catalyst for delivering that community space, right? And sustaining it. Although I like really love coffee, so there's also that.
You do really love coffee because you've got Detroit Grinds.
I do get that.
So how did you get into that? Was that something that was later?
Yeah, it was much later. Detroit Grinds was born out of a desire for like, I'm always somebody who puts on all my homies.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my friend is doing this thing, you should check it out. Like, my friend's a musician. My friend is a dope performance artist. My friend is this like really great painter. So I'm always like doing that, right? So I wanted to create a system for supporting people's work and like really highlighting everyone in my life that is like on this serious grind, right? So it started out this like double pun of like coffee grind and also the Detroit grind, like the people that are like
just hustling, just doing their thing.
So much more than hustling. It's like I feel like people in New York hustle, people in Detroit grind because there's like the sense of authenticity in the city. That like you can't hustle if like you're authentic, right? Like if you have this like sense of
you just have to be yourself
commitment.
And genuine.
Exactly, and that's when you're like busting your ass grinding. You know, that's I feel like that's a very genuine like.
It is, and you can tell.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing. So Detroit Grinds is sort of clothing, coffee, so on.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And it amazes me for someone to have so many things under their belt and being so young in the city. Like that's
25.
That is like that's dope. That's really amazing.
If you're tuning in, come to my birthday party. Kiesling, 15th.
What's gonna go down?
I'm DJing.
Oh, you're DJing at it. Okay. Okay. September 15th?
September 15th.
You're a September baby. So is my sister.
Can you not tell I'm a Virgo? Like,
so is I don't know shit about signs.
Virgos are like controlling, they're go-getters, they're really deeply emotional. They seem like they're rocks, like they tend to be people.
What's after the Virgo?
Libras. You're a Libra?
What date? When does Libra start?
The end of September, so after the 22nd.
So when's your birthday?
30th, 15 days apart.
So I guess
my birthday's actually
a Virgo too.
Oh shit.
When's Ishmael's birthday?
The 20th.
Yeah. She's a Virgo.
I'm a Taurus, which
that actually makes sense. Earth sign.
I'm like stubborn and like get all this stuff done, and that's how I am. But I don't know shit about any of the other signs. That's all. I don't know.
That's an Earth sign thing.
All that stuff. But yeah, I think it's really phenomenal for you to have so many things under your belt and like doing them well. Like they're really successful.
Thank you.
Which is really incredible.
But what is success?
You define it.
Yeah.
You define success. And I feel like the fact that you have laid out that like, okay, Bottomline has the goal of the business is, you know, to create community space and sustainability and whatnot, and you're actually doing those things, that's success.
Yeah.
You do it.
Thanks. You do it. You do things.
And I like that you mentioned storytelling because last week's episode was about storytelling. And it was about people of color specifically reclaiming our narratives and not letting other people speak for us. And I think owning a business and creating community spaces is a way to reclaim narratives and space at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
And not only that, but you, with like a space like Bottomline, you create an opportunity for people to tell their own stories.
Yeah.
You know, like open mic or all the different kinds of events that we have in there.
Yeah.
You sort of, not only are you telling like your own story, like I'm a person who moved here when I was 9.
Yeah.
You know, like didn't know English, like child me doesn't know how to communicate with adult me. That's like an insane thought to have. To just be like, I could have communicated with baby me, but baby me could not have communicated with me. You know? It's just like, you know, it's like, it's a really insane feeling to just like know that. And so to, like, that human being that has now like shifted and like had their like, like their tongue, like my tongue has been colonized, right? So like, I came here young. It wasn't my choice. It was like my family's choice. Yeah. And I felt like separated from this place that I was just like the only thing that I knew. I come to a place where I didn't speak the language, didn't know the culture, didn't really like.
Do you have vivid memories of that time?
Of Lebanon?
Of Lebanon and when you moved here?
Oh my God, I have like very vivid memories of like the airport experience.
Really?
It's like a very crazy feeling.
Wow.
It's like knowing that like you're leaving home. Yeah. And to like not know where you're going to at all. Like I'd never like even seen a picture of America.
How does a 9-year-old cope with that? How do you cope with that?
I don't know how that 9-year-old coped with that. It's kind of it's like I think there's a lot of like suppressing feeling. There's like a lot of like just distancing, sort of like removing myself from my body. Living in a dream. So I started out as a painter and an illustrator, as an artist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I would draw these I would just like dream up worlds and paint them and draw them and like dream up people and like draw them. And also like at times I would like have memories and then some of them are just like fantasies of like back home. Yeah. And I would like, and then it got to a certain point when I was like 16 where I was just like, I couldn't tell what was a memory and something I imagined when I was young, right? Like I couldn't tell if like that actually happened. That's or it was like something I like imagined. Yeah. So I started photographing because it was like reality. You know, it was like I began I was like, this is real, this is life. Yeah. So a picture meant that it was like that's like a real that it happened, right? Yeah. So that's how I got into photography, and that's why I like began photographing. Is to sort of like be settled in like, this is the truth, this is my story, this isn't just like an imagination that I had that I painted. You know? So yeah.
That's so interesting because that is a means of coping. It was expression just flowing out of you.
Yeah, still is.
And it still is, yeah.
So it's still coping. I think like I was like telling my friend about this sort of this like syndrome of people in diaspora of like the seeking of home becomes your home space. That's like where you begin to feel like the most comfortable. Yeah. And that's crazy. Yeah. Because it's just like
you're constantly seeking.
You're constantly
and you're talking about seeking.
And you're constantly talking about seeking home.
Yeah.
I think the places where I feel at home are like Bottomline or my studio. Yeah. Right? Which you have to come by.
I need to.
And so those are the spaces where I feel at home. Yeah. But then everything I'm creating in those spaces is like rooted out of this desire for home. So like I'm constantly living in that space. Yeah. It's like a weird thing. And like people in my life are always also having like similar endeavors. Yeah.
It's almost like a space of limbo. Almost. But it's like you feel home, but not completely home.
Not completely. There are like moments. There are moments where you feel at home. There are moments in conversations, there are moments in like during intimacy where I feel at home. There's moments in like deep conversations with like close friends that I feel at home. There are people that like when they walk in the room, I just like feel this like immense like calmness that I've come home. Yeah.
I mean, that's what home is, right? In its essence, it's allowing yourself to drop all of those barriers and just be vulnerable, be yourself, be unafraid, like fearless.
Yeah.
That I don't have to be something. I don't have to put on, I don't have to put on a front for anyone. I can just let go of all of that.
Yeah, it's also routine too, like on a practical level.
Mm-hmm.
It's also routine. Like I have the bakery I go to, I have the coffee shops I go to,
Mm-hmm.
I know the meat market I get my meat from. I like...
Where do you get your meat from?
Dearborn.
I go to Saad.
Oh, that too. Saad, yeah. I go to Saad too.
I used to go to him in Canton, and his brother's the one who's here, so now I go to him here.
Yeah, get that halal meat.
But I love that, because you go to the meat market and they know you. Like, they know my entire family, so they'll ask, oh, how's your mom? How's your dad? I haven't seen your sisters in a while.
But that's home.
Like, but that is home, yeah.
You build a community.
Yeah.
When you have, like, the people you go to, you have the friend that you call when you want to go dancing, you have the friend that you call when you, like, want to cry, you have, like, the people, like, just this community, like, where you, like, these are the people that, like, make up my life.
Yeah.
And all of those people combined is home.
Yeah.
Like, all of those spaces combined is home.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Welcome to everyone who's here. We're talking about home, so if you want to talk about what home means to you, go ahead and type it. Let us know. Let's talk a little bit, because we're talking about home as a person of diaspora. So what does that mean? For people who don't know, how would you define that?
Me?
Yeah, diaspora.
Diaspora is someone who is from a place and is no longer living in that place and is living in a foreign place.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm from Lebanon and I live in Detroit,
mm-hmm.
and I'm in diaspora.
Yeah.
Removed
from that place. And it's such a weird space to be in, because once you've moved, the place that you have moved to doesn't consider you from that place. And then when you've lived there, like we've been living here in the States, so if you go back,
it also doesn't feel like home either.
Also doesn't feel like home.
Yeah.
And they don't treat you like you're from there either.
Yeah, they don't. And like, so it's sort of this like limbo space of, like you were saying, limbo. Like that's like really real, where you don't belong here and you also really don't belong there. And then there's this like entire group of people, like people in diaspora. There's like a very specific culture to it for folks.
Yeah.
And
that's so true.
It's like being Arab American is really different than being Arab.
Yeah. We in my classes, we compare Arab culture with Arab American culture because it's different. And even like specifically in Dearborn, the culture is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, this idea of not, like here, we're not going to be considered American, fully American. We're all hyphenated. But if you go to wherever our parents or grandparents or ancestors are from, it's like, well, you're not from here either.
Yeah. Neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. Who wrote that, guys?
I think Khalil Gibran or something.
One of my friends came to visit, and he's like a huge Khalil Gibran fan.
Did you get him a bust from the Arab American Museum?
They actually have some of his original books signed in the archives. And we asked them for it. If you go to the library, you can ask them at the museum, and they'll bring it up. And he touched it, and he was reading his actual writings.
Wow.
And he was like, I can't believe they're letting me touch this. It was so sacred.
The Arab American Museum is dope. The people that run that place, it's like really good-hearted people in the museum. The museum,
the library, at the museum, like, I feel like I don't take advantage of it.
Nope.
But there's so much there.
There's a lot there. You should go and hang out there.
There's so much there. I should take my students there.
Yeah, you should. I just want to really, like, bring this up again.
Yeah.
Someone donated over 100 and something Khalil Gibran busts to the museum store. So they carry Khalil Gibran busts. It's interesting.
Who donated this?
I don't know.
Just somebody.
I used to know. I don't know right now.
There you go. There you go.
If you're a Khalil Gibran fan,
Paused. Reconnect. Oh, we're back. If you're a Khalil Gibran fan,
there
go
are
there.
busts at the Arab American Museum.
Wow.
But, you know, Khalil Gibran isn't the voice of Arabs, so I just want to put that out there. Just like, you need to like,
To just
like
little
throw
sprinkle.
that in there, like-
Now I'm like, so who do you think is the voice?
Camellia Yusuf. She's the G and Randa Jarrad. Oh, genius work. Who else? There's Yasmin Diaz. There's the work of Suhad Khattab. Is that wrong?
Okay.
There's the work of, what's her name? There's a show up at the museum recently, the Arab American Museum. Hind al-Mansour. Her work is amazing. But mostly like Camellia Yusuf's work. #bestie.
Do you read a lot of poetry in Arabic?
No, I don't. When I was younger, my sister would read me her poetry. She was an amazing writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would like write poetry and like long poems in Arabic and like read them to me. And I'm like, everything she wrote, I'm like, you're amazing. You're the best poet ever.
That's interesting because it makes me think of language and how language is connected to home.
Mm-hmm.
And what language we consider the language of our home now.
I mean, this is like really interesting because my studio is called Habibi House.
Yeah.
Right? So, and to me, when I'm calling someone Habibi, when I'm like referring to you as my beloved in my native tongue, like there's a beauty to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sort of like this closeness that I'm able to express my sort of love. Not just love, just like expression of emotion in my native tongue, and for like the person to like receive it and understand that there's like beauty to that, which brings me to a very serious problem of like Arabs dating Arabs and then just immediately being like, we're gonna get married. I've met an Arab like me.
Why is that?
Because
though?
we seek home. That's like literally it. So like you meet someone, they like understand your language, they like, you know, can understand your experience by you expressing it, and immediately you're like, all of these things that I have on a list don't matter because you fit this thing that's so rare.
And you get it. And you get it. Well, that's the thing too. Like, it's really hard to be with someone if you have to keep explaining yourself.
Yeah, that's like really hard.
And like keep explaining your experiences and like why you think the way that you do. That's tough.
Yeah. But some people are worth it too. Like some people are like, some people get it on like energy level, right? So it's like, I don't want to be like, y'all can't date white people because they don't get it, or like can't date non-Arabs because they don't get it. It's like you can, you know. It's like
But like there's certain things like you have to be open, and you have to be understanding, you have to be.
It's also totally different experience. Like it's 100%. Like dating someone of like a similar experience to you is sort of, it's magical. It can be magical. It's like this other like.
I feel like that about Ismail because he and I have had similar experiences, but we're from completely different backgrounds. But I think it's both of us have always sought similar things, like seeking home, seeking the divine, seeking oneness through music and through sound. And because we both have had those similar experiences with music and guitar and with Sufism and our understanding of faith, like that's what brought us together.
Yeah, we're talking about you and Ishmael have very similar experiences.
We're like the same people.
It's like, yeah, we come from very different places and different experiences, but like we're able to like be together, but like actually we've had literally the same experience.
We're also the same personality type in the Myers-Briggs. We're both INFJs. We're like literally the same people.
But also, so I want to actually talk about that. So like within intimacy and within love, like coming home, right? So like when
it's coming home.
it's like a coming home process. So like when you're with someone that like you feel that when you're like intimate with them, or when you're with them, when they're just simply walk in a room and like they're your like partner, you just like feel comfortable and at home. And I think that is like really important. And I think that like is one of the reasons that the, you know, Arab dating syndrome is a thing.
We just
like, I literally will meet an Arab person and I'm like, we're gonna get married, right?
Like, you get me?
Wait, can we go on a first date?
No, but like just this feeling of that like sigh of relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
That feeling. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean intimately, but also otherwise too, with like just friends that become family.
Mm-hmm.
Where you feel the same things. Got a couple of people on. Hello everybody. Tracy's laughing. What are you laughing at? Which part are you laughing at? And what do you guys think is home? How do you define home for yourselves? So we're talking about the seeking of home. Are you just looking through all my stuff? Is that what you're doing? I was like, oh, what's this? First time. This seeking of home to me is like seeking belonging. For me, it's always been a sense of belonging, and being in certain spaces and not feeling like I belong in that space. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta keep looking. I gotta go here. Okay, I kind of like this, but I don't like belong here, so I'm gonna move on. What did you say? Been flirting with ideas that see home as within the self.
Coming home to yourself is a huge thing. There's this one poet that writes about, I think the poem goes something like this: didn't anyone ever tell you you can't make homes out of human beings? And it's like a really, because I was working on this body of work titled Love Stories in Search of Home on my website. Just like a little plug right there.
I'm going to link everything, so make sure you give me
So I was working on this body of work, and like I was sitting with a friend of mine, Karina, and I was doing these portraits of people in my life that were like, that I shared space with them really intimately. And so, yeah, so I was like explaining the project to her, and I was like explaining sort of like what I was feeling and experiencing and what I was seeking to get out of the project. And so she shared with me this poet's work, and it changed the way the project ended. And like the last image in the body of work is a portrait of myself on my bed with a sign in my window that says "War is peace, war is over," and just sort of like realizing at the end of the body of work that I need to come home to myself before I can create home with other people. So yeah, it's a very real thing. Like your daily routine of like waking up, making tea or coffee in the morning. Or I go to Avalon if you're awake at 7 a.m. I'm usually there. Like sort of having like this morning ritual where you take care of yourself, whether it's like drinking coffee or taking a shower or like reading a book or any of those things.
Time with yourself.
Exactly. And creating space for yourself to feel. Because I think sometimes we keep busy in order to not feel things. It's like capitalism at its finest.
Phones. Because like being on your phone and scrolling through things is not really being with yourself. But going for a walk and having coffee. And taking a shower. Yeah, that's so true.
My stepbrothers are Moroccan, and they take like, it's like, they like take really long showers.
It's like 2 hours of alone time.
I'm serious. It was just like this. They like pretty much like, it's like they do a bunch of different like things with the water, like stop the water, scrub. It's just like sort of like shedding the skin and like really like.
When I was in Morocco, and I went to the hammam.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best experience of my life.
Yeah.
Because it was different temperatures of water, different like the process of like scrubbing, the process of rinsing, the process of combing your hair, of like, and then at the end pouring rose water all over, and then you just feel like oh my god, I'm a new person.
Yeah.
You feel like a new person. It was the best experience of my life. And what my friend and I went together, we've been friends for like 23 years, and when we went, it was our 20th friendship anniversary type thing, so we made a trip out of it.
Whoa.
And yeah, she's the longest friend I've had. And she was like, yeah, I don't want to go because I'm just not comfortable with the whole naked thing. And I was like, I'm all about it. Let's go. And it was amazing.
Did she go or she
didn't go.
She missed out.
I was like, you missed out on this amazing experience. And it was a sense of home because like there's just all sorts of women there, like young, old, like just different stages of life, being able to see so many different body types, and everyone's just loving of one another. Yeah. That was really beautiful.
Also, like, taking care of, like, our bodies.
Yeah.
You know, like, people are there to, like...
Take care
to
of.
To treat yourself.
Just feel good.
Yeah. I love bathhouses.
Such an amazing experience. Tracy said, you and Is being the same. Oh, that's what you're laughing about. Amen. Yeah. That's a sense of home because that's a community space that people go to regularly in that culture.
I like getting my nails done.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's like sort of that's such an intimate thing to have done.
Yeah.
And to like look at even like the most like, you know, like tiniest parts of like these things, your cuticles just, like, or whatever, and just have them like cleaned and groomed and like grooming each other. Like when I was younger, my sister and I would like I would do her hair. I would spend like 3 hours straightening her hair because it was.
I would do my sister's hair too.
And that was like this like intimate thing, right? And it was just like learning to take care of each other and this like that's really so like.
I used to braid my baby sister's hair. She's 8 years younger than me, and I would sit there. She's still a baby. She's 22.
You can't call her a baby anymore.
She's still baby. Still baby. And we used to sit there, and I would just braid her hair, and it would be like hours because she has super thick hair. And that was such a great experience to have together. Yeah. It's so intimate. It is so intimate.
Yeah.
Especially the way you sit.
Yeah.
It's like legs spread apart and then you're sitting right there.
And you're braiding their hair. Or like giving each other facials. That's like, or doing each other's eyebrows or like.
Or massages?
Yeah, massages. My little brother would give me massages all the time. He loved doing it. My little baby, he's 19. He's not a baby anymore. But he'll always be my baby. Still my baby.
I had a roommate when I was in Egypt for the first time, and the first night that we stayed together, she came into my room, cuddled up next to me in my bed, and I was not a touchy-feely person, and started massaging my head. And she's like, can you just stroke my hair? And I was like, I just met you. I was like, what are you doing in my bed? But we became so close because it felt so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, why have I never done this?
Grooming is a thing. I agree.
It feels so good. Feel like the intimate caretaking is something that goes way back for us. Grooming. Yeah.
Yeah. Grooming.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that. And like grooming each other at home and then having spaces where you groom one another or go. Like the idea of a barbershop being a community space.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a perfect example of that.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Do you have a barber that you love?
Yeah. One person touches my hair. One human. It's been like, I think like almost a year and a half now. The only human I've let cut my hair is this person. Their name is Backpack.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, follow them on the gram.
Social grooming?
They used to work at the social club. Now they like come to my studio and cut my hair.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
but that's
they're an amazing barber. They like, look at this hair.
Looking good.
Yeah, I need a haircut. Yeah.
Yeah, grooming.
What about you?
Grooming.
You, sir.
Yeah,
How do you experience home?
Home? I feel like you guys covered a lot of it. For me, something that comes to mind is like memories. Memories kind of links back to home. Especially growing up with like no like close family around.
Yeah.
I think of like when I was younger and when I was close to family, those memories kind of like link back to like when it felt really good and when it felt like, you know, being home or like grounded with the people that you love.
Yeah. It's almost like the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a hard like concept to really like find and link onto idea of home, you know?
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy that the nostalgia is what feels like home?
Right?
It's that diaspora thing.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I get all these tattoos on me because they, like, remind me of home. They remind me of, like, an experience or a memory. Like, this mug is, like, a Arabic coffee cup. Let's see it. Here.
Yep.
Don't copy my tattoos. My mom, growing up, would drink. This is also part of, like, why I opened Bottomline. Why I, like, am intrigued by coffee is...
Yeah.
When I was younger, my mom would say, I don't have kids until I've had my first cup of coffee. And so I would wake up in the morning and boil the water and wake her up afterwards, and so that she can put the coffee in there. And so, like, coffee is just, like, this sort of reminder of, like, my mother, who's such a home for me for so long.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. That's why the bottom line exists. My mom embedded that love of coffee in me.
And it just stayed with you.
It stayed.
Killing the game. Killing it. On that grind.
I'm on that grind.
I'm still thinking about...
I like to think I'm like more like flowering, you know, watering rather than killing. Just like the idea of killing the game.
Yeah, that too.
I'm watering
You're
the
watering
game.
it. You're flowering it.
I'm the water boy.
You're growing it.
I'm the water boy. I like that idea.
You reminded me when you were talking about, like, these tattoos with memories. I associate smells with home.
Like smelling kamoon.
Yeah.
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 Like, or like the smell of my grandmother. Or like walking in the street and smelling, this is going to be really nasty, but like smelling sewage, but it smells like the nastiness of the streets in Pakistan. And I'm like, oh my god, that's what it smelled like.
When I walk by a trash can, it reminds me of Lebanon and how they never pick up the trash. There's a problem. There's a problem.
But it's like,
don't get the trash.
You instantly go back.
Yeah, you do instantly go back.
I have that because I spent a lot of time in my undergrad years in Egypt. And I like the certain smells. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the trash. There's all this about it right there.
Oh,
Smells.
Well,
food, coffee does that too.
Yeah. Coffee and food.
Food, for sure.
Yeah.
Food is home.
Oh, my belly is home.
And it better have tons of spices in it. Don't give me no chicken that. Watching these tasty videos. I don't think it was a tasty video. One of those, you know, those like people online, those that always do those recipe videos.
Okay.
And it was, they just salt and there were two recipes. It was like a chicken one and a chuck roast one. And they just put salt and pepper on it. And then just some garlic and some butter.
People are not living their best life.
And I was like, what?
You gotta put some paprika on there.
Yeah, paprika,
some 7 Spice.
Some 7 Spice, or some Cajun,
some
or
secret
some
spice.
like cumin, some turmeric, some like something.
Secret
Cayenne.
Can we just secret spice? We don't even gotta tell people what it is.
All the spices. My spice cabinet is 3 shelves.
Dude.
Like, so many spices. And then the top rack is like the big bulk amount. So if I run out, like the top shelf always has more. Like You have to have spices. You have to have all the spices.
Yeah. Never run out of spice.
Never run out, like, huge thing of cumin, huge thing of turmeric.
Yeah.
Huge thing of 7 spice.
Ginger.
Of course.
Ginger.
And everything.
Food is another, like, place where you create and build home.
Yeah.
The whole, like, breaking bread with a person. That's like a real thing.
That's an intimate experience to have with somebody.
I also want to redefine, like, when I say intimate, I'm not, like, just speaking about, like, lovers. Like, I'm talking about, like intimacy.
Just close.
Closeness. Like. Openness,
being vulnerable, feeling comfortable, feeling home with someone.
Mm-hmm.
That type of intimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't just invite anybody over to eat with me.
Exactly.
That's so true. So food, smells, places.
Music. Like Daoud, when I see Daoud, I'm like, when I hear Daoud play, I'm just like paralyzed.
Because it takes you somewhere else?
Yeah, it does. It's just like set, like the sound. Let's play some.
Play some. Let's give us some background.
Yeah, let's do it.
What else, guys? What are some spaces that you guys have created that give you that sense of home? So some of the things that Noura and I had talked about before this was you creating spaces of community was creating home.
I'm gonna fake playing music.
You what?
Fake playing, but
Yeah, do that. Creating spaces. Asia, I see you. You create the kickback. That's a space of home.
I'm pretending.
You have to do it realistically. The wrist is it's moving fast. This is the guitarist in me. All that wrist action.
This looks like I'm playing it.
No, it does. But you have to close your eyes and you have to like.
I don't like this.
I'm missing the risha that goes with it. I don't know where it went.
We gotta fix that.
It's a pick, so the pick that goes with it is like this long and it's thin. It's called risha.
That right there, that's like.
There you go.
Can y'all hear that?
Oh, I didn't even connect the mic. I hope you guys can hear me fine. I think I should. Did you grow up going to concerts?
No. We didn't listen to music growing up because I grew up Shia.
And
very
music
religious.
was a no-no.
Music was haram.
Wow. So at what point did you get into it or start listening?
During the rebellion phase. It's like 16 hit. I decided I want to do photography.
Yeah.
Listen to music.
Do all the things.
Have a boyfriend.
All the things.
All the things.
That's what happens though. Like
it was like more like 14, to be honest.
I feel like when families and when parents are just so restrictive, you best believe your kids are gonna rebel at some point and they're gonna go crazy. Just trying everything. Everything.
Yeah. Me and this boy shared a locker. That is the most serious relationship I've had with a cis man.
You shared such a small space with someone.
Yeah.
Sharing space is a big deal.
It was like, and that was the last time I moved in with someone.
And that was it?
Learned a lesson there.
No more sharing space.
No more sharing.
Home for you is...
I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Is it seclusion? Is it seclusion? Is that
no,
what
I love having people over. I enjoy my space. I don't enjoy having roommates. I think I can live with a partner.
Yeah.
But
I don't enjoy roommates either.
Yeah, I just want like a home space.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to be like.
I like having routine in my home, and I feel like having roommates throws that off because everyone has their own routine.
Yeah.
Like.
Or they want to talk to you, and like it's just like, dude, I just want to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Like it's Netflix time.
Just that's it. Or cleaning. That was always the thing for me.
Yeah, when I live with roommates, I'm usually the messy one.
I'm
like gross when I live with people. But then when I live alone, it's just like shit's pristine. You can lick the floor.
Why is that? Is it because it's yours?
Maybe, but also like just like it's just I would get mad if I come back and it's not good. So it's just like I stopped doing it, and then I became the gross, dirty one.
Interesting. I feel anxious when things are cluttered or dirty.
Yeah, same.
That's how I feel. But like when I used to live with my parents, my room was always messy. But then when I had my own place, it's usually clean.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, all this stuff needs to be in the right place. So I can
mother.
sit down and have that
Cluttered home, a cluttered mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Right.
I feel that for real.
I feel like when I have roommates, I don't really come home. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm going into another social space. But when it's like a partner, it's totally different because you're like actually coming home.
Yeah, that's
you know,
so
like
true.
You're not there to socialize. That's like when you're feeling calm and like comfortable and like chill. That's not the case with like roommates. It's just like, this is just another social situation to navigate.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine about that same feeling, like not feeling like she is coming home because she's with a roommate.
Yeah.
But with a partner, like you already have an understanding, so it's not a social situation. And it like hopefully if you have a good relationship, you can be in the same space without having to talk and having to do things.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like live with a partner, so I don't know what that's like.
I feel like it's...
Like I said, locker was as far as I've gotten as moving in.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's like I would put something somewhere in the locker and I'll come back and it's fucking moved and it's just like frustrating.
If you couldn't deal with that, then I was my sister just moved, okay? So we had this going away party for her, and I was gone for a whole day. It was a Sunday, last Sunday. And I come back, and the kitchen is just a hot mess. It's not dirty, it's just everything's in the wrong place. Like, the boys put everything away from the dishwasher, and I come home, and I'm just like, you put everything in the wrong place. And they're like, but it's put away. It's fine. And I was like, no, it's in the wrong place. And that frustrated me.
You're
That was my little
OCD.
tangent. I am a little bit OCD.
Yeah,
I get that from my dad, for sure.
Yeah.
I for sure get that from my dad.
What's your dad's sign?
He's August 18th.
Is he a Leo? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he's a Leo.
He's a Leo?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely get that tendency from him.
What does that mean to be a Leo?
Leos are like, they're like the tiger. They're like outgoing. They're charming. They're, people like love Leos.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
But my dad's not that outgoing anymore. He is, but not like the older he gets, the more introverted he gets.
Old lion.
Just in his own space.
Hmm.
Home. So the studio that you have now, what feels like the most for you? What feels home the most for you?
So I got the studio and with the intention of running an artist residency out of it. And then also I got it with the intent, I like wanted to make art there. And I also, part of my art is bringing people together. So anyways, it's a house.
Yeah.
It's a 2-bedroom house. And I host people over for dinner.
Yeah.
Backpack comes over and cuts my hair there, cuts a few other people's hair there. I like, my friends come and like we hang out and we like just talk about the work we're making and just like chill. Just like sharing space with like local artists and bringing people together is part of my artist practice.
Yeah.
So the space provides that for me.
Yeah.
I don't live there.
Yeah.
I just sort of have the space, have created the space, and
That's dope.
I use it, my friends use it. It's kind of becoming this
Like a hub.
Yeah, it's a hub. It's very, like, and the artist residency isn't something that people can apply to.
Yes, artist residency.
It's invitation only because I want to sort of deconstruct, like, this whole system of, like, applying for things, the bureaucracy of, like, getting residencies, all of those things. I kind of want to, like, do away with that, and I want to get back to the sort of, like, back to just the relationship. Like, when you bring an artist into a space and build a relationship with them, and then they build a relationship with your community, and you begin to build this network.
Yeah.
And also having a bunch of people share a space, stay, live, create, you know, drink, eat in the same space, you're sharing this energy with that person. And so, like, you've shared space with people, and then you have this network, which is called the Habibi Network, of artists that have shared space there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What kind of artists or people are invited or are there?
So I just, like, to me it's just like if an artist I know or don't know and I, like, want to connect with, like, like if it's an artist I've met once and I'm like, oh, I, like, want to get to know this person more, I'm like, hey, I do this thing, I will provide you housing, if you can get yourself here. Eventually I would love to, like, have, like, the financial means and support to be able to cover, like, travel costs for artists.
Well, that was my next question, is how do you sustain? Wow.
It's self-funded at first, so I have this, like, I'm a business person, so when I first, like, was conceptualizing the space, I thought about how is it going to sustain itself, because people have created these spaces in the past. I'm not, like, inventing anything new. But the things that have, like, fell through in all of these spaces is sustainability, financial sustainability. So what I did in designing the space, I had a room where the artist stays, and then that room is, like, really bare and empty and, like, has a desk. And what I do is I Airbnb the room for half the month, and that pays for the space.
Wow, okay. That makes sense.
And I still have access to the entire house all the time. All the time I have access to it. Just that one room
is being Airbnb.
Being Airbnb provides the financial means for us to do all this work that we're making.
That's smart.
It's not profit. It's never going to be profit. But it's just, like,
to keep it going, sustainability.
Sustainability. It's just, like, I want it to be enough so that the space keeps going. And it does. And so figure out a way to do this thing and not have it, like, financially strain me personally, but like, also to not be attached to a grant or to a funder and then have to, like, be attached to the things they need from me.
There's, like, accountability of,
exactly.
Like, you have to reach these certain things.
And now I just do whatever the fuck I want.
Wow.
And bring over whoever that I want.
That's home. That's home.
Pretty.
Christina just said, oh, I gotta come up. Okay. Sorry I'm late, but why do you feel you have the calling to bring people together, And does that have to do with creating a new home in terms of diaspora?
Yeah, exactly.
Or is it a new definition of home? Or is a new definition of home needed?
I think it is, like, me bringing people together with me seeking home. I also, I think I have a natural affinity for, like, bringing people together. I think that's something that comes really naturally to me. And I want to use this thing that I've been gifted.
Have you taken the Gallup strength test?
What is that?
It's like, it's kind of like a personality test, but it's really about your strengths. And so it's like a series of questions. It takes like 40 minutes. And then they tell you your top 5 strengths. And one of mine, and I'm assuming yours will probably be the same, is connectivity, bringing people together, creating connections.
Yeah.
And you're good at it.
I am.
You're great at it.
I'm very blessed to be good at it.
Bringing that together. I think just an artist residency, the idea of an artist residency is so amazing to me because it's something that I've thought about, Christina has thought about, just how much it's needed and how it allows for artists to actually have a space where you can be even more creative and expressive. Like you have the tools that you need and you have the space that you need and you have the support that you need, which is so important.
And I feel like sometimes people like don't go for these things because it just feels and seems like not possible or like too hard to put together.
Yeah.
When like once I got the space built out, which I built all the furniture in there, everything in that space.
Yeah.
Like once I had it built out, I'm like, oh, now this is the fun part. Now it's like I get to invite people to come here and like kick it. And it's not
do things.
Like when I tell people to come, I'm like, this isn't like super serious. This isn't like, when I say it's not super serious, as in like it's not intense. Like I just want you to come here and build with me, connect with me, and get to know me, and I get to know you, and you get to know like my people, like the people in this community, and I want you to have a network of people here and across the world, because of the space that we've shared together. And so I think it's like a very, maybe I say it's easy and maybe it may not be, but to me it just like felt like second nature. Like it just, I like had an idea, I had this calling, and I just like, I'm not gonna wait for it to happen, I'm gonna do it.
I think the fact that you had that intention and you put it out there, like, it was received. Because I have always felt like that at Bottomline. Every time I've done an open mic at Bottomline, I've always felt like the people who are there are family and our community. And like how that space allows for people to really let their guards down and say, hey, I've got something that I feel safe enough and brave enough and courageous enough to share with you. And I feel like that's how you create those networks and those relationships with people. Is you say, okay, I want to share with you my expression, and I want to hear from you. I want to experience your expression. And then have it over coffee.
Anything can happen over coffee in Detroit.
Ain't that the truth?
Plug.
Do you have any last minute thoughts about this topic?
My thoughts for days. Follow me on the gram. Just kidding. I just felt like that's what people do.
Subscribe down below.
Subscribe.
Actually, I do post these on YouTube, so if you do want to subscribe, you could. But I just never say that in my videos.
Subscribe below. Follow Tazeen on the gram.
You'll see it come up here. Just kidding, you won't, because I don't know how to do all those effects.
Wait, I have an idea where it's like it's just like, I got it. Write it down.
Follow me.
I got this. Okay.
Right here. But you can't see it.
But that's the makeshift like banner that goes across the screen, like. You can't even see it. It's like.
All right, y'all. We are going to be right back, and when we are back, Noura will show us some art, some stuff,
some things.
So come right back. It's gonna be just 5 seconds. Where's your stuff at? Where's all the stuff? All the stuffs.
Tazeen said I can do whatever I want. And I want to play music.
But I thought you were going to show us this.
It is actually what I'm doing. See how sneaky I am?
Tell us about it.
So I'm learning how to tattoo. This is my second tattoo that I've done. You wanna, I don't know, should I come closer? It's wheat. Is it, can you see it?
Yeah.
It's wheat. I made this tattoo. Hit me up in like 3 weeks. I'd be able to tattoo you. This is the first tattoo I did.
You did another one though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. This is the first one I did. And it's an acorn. My last name means acorn. To give myself a loner corn. So yeah, I've always wanted to learn how to tattoo. And now my friend has been teaching me, and I feel like really lucky to have like a woman of color that's like taking the time to
teach you the ways.
To teach me the ways, and to just like really invest in like having more brown tattoo artists that are like doing work like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I'm like really into that. Another thing I wanted to show is my Kiki dance. Just kidding.
I was like, wait, do I have to move?
So I brought some stuff with me. These are some of the Detroit Grinds like apparel stuff. These are some booty shorts for the gym. I screen print them myself and design them myself. Everything that I have at Detroit Grinds is locally made. So all of our patches are made in Southwest. All of our snapbacks are made in Southwest. I screen print everything. Our wallets, our leather wallets that we're having made are made locally. Our soap, we have soap, and that stuff is also made locally by a Yemeni American woman who like is making stuff out of her home. It's sort of like really like not just saying like we grind and like this is some shit I wear and like look at me, I'm hip. It is hip though. No lie, it's hip as fuck.
It really is though.
Super hip. And then, but like also just like really being true and authentic to the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite sweater that oh my god, there's a cat.
There is. Are you allergic?
No, I love cats.
She's friendly.
She's so tiny.
She's a very friendly cat.
Do you want more cats?
I do.
Really? I have 2 kittens. Do you want them?
Ismail doesn't want more cats, but I do, so maybe
They're
I'll just
come by.
Bring one home.
Not one. You gotta take both. They're brothers. You can't separate them. Sorry. This is the sweatshirt. I'll be wearing this for the next 6 months because it's about to get cold, and I will wear this every day.
There you go. Detroit Grinds. So check it out, y'all.
Yep. DetroitGrinds.com. Detroit Grinds on the gram. And follow. Subscribe below.
Check out Bottomline.
Yeah. Go to the Bottomline Coffee House.
Yep.
Support local Black-owned businesses. Support local queer-owned businesses. Support the homie. And support artists.
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks for tuning in.
And that's all, y'all. We'll be back next Tuesday, 7 p.m., same time.
Peace.